Hi, my name is Sam Bell, and although I've lived in Utah for the vast majority of my life, I am not Mormon. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Mormon Church. Most people the only thing they know about Mormons is Mitt Romney or Orrin Hatch or that South Park episode. But let me give you some of the stats and some of the financial aspects of it that a lot of people don't know about either. So the Mormon Church was started in 1830 by Joseph Smith. He claimed to have had a vision and other visions of Jesus Christ and angels that visited him and told him different things, that the existing Christian churches weren't right, that none of them were right, and he should start his own. And that there was an alternate history according to the Bible. Among other things, that the Garden of Eden was in America, in a place that's now Jackson County, Missouri. But he was a very charismatic guy, quickly got a lot of followers, and it grew from the 6 people in the first meeting in 1830 till now. It increased quite a bit. But the other religious groups, the other people in the cities, there obviously some resistance and pushback to these guys. They figure, hey, this is a cult, and so there's a lot of pushback from the locals. So they had a hard time settling in. So they moved around from Missouri to Ohio, and Smith eventually got a plot of land in Illinois and called the city Nauvoo, and settled that. And it grew quick. So in a few short years, they had quite a bit of people. The size grew to almost the size of Chicago at the time, and as well as that, his power grew, and so he was mayor. He was commander of the local militia, and wanted everyone to follow in his church. So, but there were still some other people around in Nauvoo that weren't Mormons, and there was a local printing press that published an opposition newspaper, and this upset Joseph Smith, and so he ordered the newspaper print facility destroyed. Well, this got him arrested and thrown in jail. And while he was in jail, there was a riot and a mob, and these people came in, kicked open the doors, and ended up shooting him and his brother. And there were no convictions for that murder either. So fellow Mormon Brigham Young decided, we're gonna relocate. We're gonna try and find our own place and avoid this persecution here. So he led this mass exodus out west, across the Great Plains, and through Colorado, and ended up getting to Salt Lake Valley here in Utah, where he said, this is the place. And that's according to MormonNewsroom.org. But they lost a lot of people along the way. So a lot of the males especially died during the exodus across the country, and they still had polygamy in place, so they could rebuild the population. And when in 1866, after they had settled here, there were 60,000 members. By the time of 1866, there were 60,000 members of the Mormon Church, and they were a potential threat to the U.S. Army. So when the Army built, military forts throughout the country, as they're establishing and annexing property from the Indians and the Mexicans and whatever, the Fort Douglas, which is on the east end of Salt Lake City by the University of Utah, the cannons are actually facing towards the city instead of away from the city. So where everyone else, they were away to protect from invaders, Fort Douglas, actually, cannons are facing towards the city because the Mormons were a potential threat to the U.S. government. So after they were established, polygamy was renounced by the Mormon Church in 1890. Utah becomes a state in 1896, and at that time there were over 200,000 members of the church. And so between 1830 and now, so less than 200 years, They went from 6 members initially to 16 million. And their finances have grown as well. They've got several non-profit and for-profit entities. So they're non-profit, they do charity work all over the world, and the educational institutions, BYU, BYU Hawaii, BYU Idaho, LDS Business College, among others. And then they're for-profit, according to Bloomberg, reaps over $1.2 billion a year from its subsidiaries. And Joseph Smith had certain revelations, and he had 112 revelations according to Mormon Newsroom, and 88 of those were either directly or indirectly economically related. So as they're establishing Salt Lake City and they're getting into this financial security, they increase their assets. They own over 1 million acres of land in the U.S., including the largest cattle ranch, or largest ranch in Florida, over 290,000 acres, which has over 45,000 cattle. They have citrus, sod, and timber operations there, and and it's estimated worth over $1 billion. The 10% tithe, which is what Mormon members are obligated to give to the church, 10% of their income, is estimated to be about $8 billion a year. And they operate in Britain, Canada, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico. And the Australian property is valued at $61 million and has an annual sales of $276 million, according to Dun & Bradstreet. And so in this less than 200 years, the Mormon Church is the second wealthiest religion in the world behind the Catholic Church. And one of the main reasons that the Catholic Church is the wealthiest is because of all that property in Europe that they've owned for centuries. It's just extremely valuable. So there's a little bit of insight, a little bit of information on the Mormon religion. Thanks.